This is my mother, Margaret Rose Evans Bennett,
better known as Peggy.
on her 97th birthday. Let's see, 2/2/2022. That's a big deal. Now, this is to your grandchildren and great grandchildren,
How about great-greats?
great greats too. And you have, as of this week, probably 11 great greats.
Huh.
Because Lindsay's going to have a baby this week, I think. This week or next week. But tell me about Barney.
Well, Barney was my favorite pony. He was a bay, half Shetland and half Welsh pony. So he was smaller than a horse and larger than a Shetland.
Huh.
And it was a bay. That means a black mane and tail and brown body. And he had lots of pep, and he bucked people off. Except me. He never bucked me off.
And this was in Wyoming.
In Wyoming. And I had him till mother and I moved to encampment, and then we sold him. But I got it. My brother got him for me when I was about 8 or 9 years old.
Now this was your my Uncle Dick.
Yes, I may have been younger than that, but oh, I loved that pony. And I went every place I went on him.
Huh.
And he had a lot of pep, but he loved to. If somebody else got on him, he liked to buck, but not me.
Cool. Now you and Dad went to Egypt.
Yes.
And I what's that, twice?
Yes.
And when I saw the pictures, and that's where Dad got the tattoo. Supposedly his name in Egyptian.
Yes. No, he didn't get the tattoo in Egypt.
Oh.
He had his name done in Egypt. Then he came home and got the tattoo in the U.S. From the Egyptian picture.
And at that time, as I recall, the army kind of escorted you as tourists.
Oh, you had to be escorted in Egypt to be safe. Either that or they liked the tips. It's debatable. But you'd go out to go someplace and all of a sudden you had an escort. And it was probably sensible, safety-wise, but they expected a tip.
Well, kind of give a tip, $10, $100.
I forget. It's been quite a while ago. 10 was probably it.
Well, good. 10 American dollars.
100 was an awful lot of money back then for an Egyptian.
Yeah.
10 was a fortune.
That's good. Now, what life advice would you give to a great grandchild?
Well, number one, be healthy. And that means I don't think drinking's real smart. I don't think a glass of wine hurts anybody. But too much drinking isn't good. Smoking, we know, isn't good. So you start with good health. You need exercise, and you need things to keep your mind busy. Keeping a healthy mind is almost as important as a healthy body.
Yeah, we all know people who have suffered Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
And you until recently did a daily crossword with Rob.
Oh, I didn't do it with Rob. I did it by myself.
Okay.
I've gotten lazy. I could do a crossword right now. But it's important to keep your mind active. I like computers. They keep your mind active.
Well, you were Dad's legal secretary for his whole legal career.
No, just since we moved over here.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I was in charge of all publications at the Hanford nuclear site.
I remember.
I was editor of publications and then senior specialist publications, communications.
Well, before you gave up smoking, remember I loaded your cigarettes with exploding cigarettes, and your boss bummed one.
I smoked an awful lot, but 90% of my smoking was my ashtray. It was more a hand thing than a. It's something you do with your hands.
Now tell me about what happened when your boss bummed a cigarette from you at Hanford.
What?
Your boss bummed a cigarette from you at Hanford, and it blew up on him.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. I remember you're telling me that he bummed a cigarette. He says, Peg, I knew you'd want me to quit smoking, but this is ridiculous.
There are a lot of things I don't remember.
And, well, and you went with Dad every day when he went to the casino to play poker. You were there.
Oh, yes. After we moved over here and he was playing poker, I'd go with him. But it was more just to visit with people.
And get out of the house.
Get out of the house. I didn't play the slot machines or anything.
Yeah, well, I knew that I could generally FaceTime you in the morning and find you out there and see your face on the computer.
Yeah, but he enjoyed his poker.
Yeah, until COVID came.
Yeah,
That kind of screwed up a lot of lives.
Wrecked his life.
Yeah, yeah. But he still was really.
He didn't lose money at poker. I would say he more than broke even.
Well, that's
but
cool.
It wasn't a poker game for thousands of dollars. It was a special limit game that people played.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I always tell people that the two pieces of advice my parents gave me were, Mom said, Rick, you're frequently wrong, but never in doubt. And Dad said, never play your cards face up.
But the poker was a good hobby for Dad, and he was a good player.
Well, yeah, he was streetwise from a lot of.
And he wasn't out there to make $1 million. He knew his odds.
That's cool. That's cool.
We didn't get rich or make a lot of money off of it, but we didn't lose any either.
Well, that kept him very mentally active.
Yes. And he was mentally active up to the day he died.
I know. He,
we probably put more effort in the years of our bridge playing. And we probably played bridge for more money than he paid for poker. But we were very good.
Yeah, Omar Sharif was a bridge player too.
Oh.
That was his big pastime. Well, yeah, the day Dad died, he watched Barney Miller and then went to sleep, and that was it.
And that was it. I went to cover him up, and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He was very active physically. How many marathons did he do?
It was in his obituary, what, 29 or something? And he was a world champion race walker for a while in his age group.
And he didn't smoke. He gave up smoking years ago. He made a bet one night when first came out that it was good not to smoke. he made a bet with two guys that the first one's smoke had to pay the other two $500. And he woke up the next morning and he was so damn mad at himself for making such a stupid bet that he gave up drinking.
Did anybody ever pay up on the 500?
No. Bill Sollers went broke and started smoking. He was the other one.
Oh, yeah. I remember Bill. I was friends with Jim, his son.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm trying to think. Yes, he was race walking, and well, you were into bicycling too.
We had the tandem bikes. We had 2 or 3 different ones.
Well, and didn't you have? You also had single speed bike, or your own bicycles that you rode.
But we preferred the tandems. Dad had a very good bike to do triathlons. Because he did quite a few triathlons.
Well, I remember he was good at ping pong, and
he was a natural athlete. He was very well coordinated.
Well, in tennis for a while.
Oh yeah,
a lot of years.
He had some tennis championships, but he was naturally coordinated, physically coordinated.
Well, I always found it to be intimidating. Finally, I finally got into one thing that I could do better than him. That was bicycle.
Okay.
But that has kept me healthy. And what I'm just trying to think. Any reflections on being a parent for my grandkids, who are now all their grandparents?
I knew they were more beautiful and smarter than anybody else's.
Yeah, well, you convinced me that I was the smartest and most handsome, intelligent person in the entire world, and I bought into that until I went to Andover and discovered I wasn't.
No, being a parent was fun. It was work. But I was very fortunate when my children were small and growing up. I did have a cleaning woman that came once a week. And I had a girl that came after school that helped me.
Let's see, I remember Hazel Hoffman.
She was my cleaning woman.
And some girl.
Joanne Martini and Nancy. I can't think of Nancy's names. They were high school girls that came after school that helped. Because 8 kids is quite a few.
Yeah. So far, we have, of our 4 kids, we have 3 of them had 5 children, and 1 of them has 4 children, and that's probably going to be the limit there. And your youngest grandchild is 9 years old now. Mm-hmm. Or no, youngest great-grandchild. My youngest grandchild is 9 years old now. And again, like I said, this week you'll have 11 great-great-grandchildren.
That's quite a few of us.
That's a lot. Well, when Tyree sent me the request to add the birth dates and birthdays and marriage dates,
that was a terrible job.
Of all the kids, we had a lot. I mean, I must have given her 100 names and birthday, because I had she conveniently left off all of Andy's, his birthday, his name. Good old Tyree. And so I put on. I also put on her wedding anniversary with John Kramer. She didn't have that on the. I'm not sure it made it to the calendar. But now we have John, who is married and well employed.
Yes.
And but Rob is taking good care of Rhonda.
Well, Rob's done a pretty good job raising Blaze and Jackson
Yeah.
who are around his nephews.
And let's see, is it Blaze or Jackson who has a car on order that's getting in? I'm trying to think. He had
I
it.
think it's Blaze.
Blaze probably had it built to order.
No, it's Jackson.
Jackson, okay. And they're selling for $5,000 more if you could get one now than he paid for his when he ordered it. Of course, that's he's lucky to get a new car. That's cool. That's very cool. And Marsh and Rob are in the real estate business. They were together.
Rob does have a daughter.
Yeah, a stepdaughter.
No, daughter.
Oh, Rob, I'm sorry.
Born out of wedlock.
That's right. And she's recently had a child.
Yeah.
So you're a great grandmother there too.
Are you taking a picture of me?
Yes.
Okay. This is the family ring. The diamond Granddad Bennett bought for Grammy Bennett on their 50th anniversary. And on our 20th anniversary, I had it mounted on my wedding ring. And it's to go to Laura.
Cool.
And it's to be kept in the family, if possible. And it's rather fine diamond.
That's cool. Well, Laura's a grandmother now. In fact, we have a daddy-daughter function on February 10th. And so I've asked her to come with me as my little girl. And she is, I think she'll be the only grandmother there as the daughter. All the rest of the kids will be 12 and 13 years old, in the deal. So anyhow, it's going to be fun to show her off and let her brag about her 2 grandchildren now. Amy has a grandson named Hank, and I don't know what Lindsay's granddaughter is going to be named, but she'll have 1 grandson and 1 granddaughter, and that's and of course Rich and April. Let's see, Megan has 2 now, Brenton, and what's her name? It's I've got them all on the computer here to remember. And then Jonathan has 2 babies. The newest one is called Hazel, which is the name of Rita's aunt, Aunt Hazel.
While you're on names, I think the name Richard is one of the most interesting ones in our family. My grandfather Evans was Richard Evans.
Yeah.
My brother was Richard Evans.
Yeah.
My husband's Richard Bennett. My son is Richard Bennett. So if anybody wants to keep a name in a family, use the name Richard.
Well, it's funny that we have, and then we have Richard the third, who is my son, and then Richard the fourth.
Yeah.
And the funny story there is that Richard the third, his wife really didn't want to name a son Richard the fourth, so they had 4 daughters. And finally, she said, "If you'll give me a son, I'll let you name him Richard." And she got a son. So who knows if we're going to have a Richard the fifth? But
to me, it's interesting that it comes from both sides of the family.
That's right. That's right. And then Matthew, we have Matthew David Bennett, and then his son Dave is Matthew David Bennett Jr. And Matthew David Bennett III is, his nickname is Huey, Matthew Huey. And Huey loves to ski, and he loves to ride roller coasters. They just took him to Disneyland this last week. And
we probably skied more than the rest of you. We used to ski 50 times a year.
Well, Matthew has taken that up, by the way. He has so far skied over 50 times this year alone.
Okay.
And remember, Reed and I sent all 4 of our kids to Whistler Mountain in the summers to train with the Canadian ski team.
Oh,
And they trained with Wayne Wong, who was the world freestyle champion. And so whenever they ski, John had a moose hat, and every time he went over and jumped, the moose ears popped up out of his head, and people on the chairlift would applaud. They'd go in, moose, moose, moose. And so all 4 of our kids are excellent skiers.
yeah. Well, you lived in ski country, and we had to commute. We had the family season ticket down at Anthony Lakes. We'd have to drive 2.5 hours to get down there.
Well, when we lived in San Jose, every Saturday morning we'd get up at like 3 or 4 o'clock and drive to Lake Tahoe, which is a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, same type of thing.
And so we skied as a family for a while. But anyhow, Matthew has given his kids the same love of skiing he has. In fact, Amanda teaches skiing. And
believe me, I never taught skiing. I was lucky to get down the hill.
Well, Rita kind of did it too, as for the family. She and after the kids left home, I decided I didn't particularly like the kinds of people that hung around ski slopes anyway, so I don't ski. Maybe once or twice a year, somebody flies in and we go skiing together.
Yeah.
And you don't forget.
I don't think I'll go skiing again.
Uh-huh. Well, the new equipment is quite forgiving. It's not like that old stuff we used to ski on.
It was pretty good stuff.
Oh, the new stuff, they're big fat skis, and you carve your turns with ease. I don't know about skiing on the East Coast, and you got to learn how to cut your turns in ice. But out in Utah, we got a lot of powder.
Yeah. Well, we had powder at Anthony Lakes where we skied.
Yeah, in fact, when Rita and I drove up here, we drove through Anthony Lakes.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful, beautiful country. Well, somehow your recreation and skiing skipped a generation. I haven't. We skied a lot when we were in Tahoe or in San Jose, but your grandkids have remarkable traditions of family vacations. I mean, they take them seriously and they plan them a long time out.
See, we bought a family season ticket at Anthony Lakes, because we had a big family and we skied every weekend. Of course, you left home by that time.
Well, I know, and then when I came back to go skiing, I had an accident the first time up at Anthony Lakes and left Rita while I was in the hospital that night. And she had, I think, Matthew crapped in the bed. I wasn't popular with that. I was the only one that got a good night's sleep. But
turn it off.
Okay. Okay, we're continuing. Granddad Bennett paid $12,000 for this diamond for Grammy Bennett's their 50th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mom had it made into a ring on your 20th wedding anniversary.
I got the diamond and put it in my wedding ring. Put it on my wedding ring on my 20th.
And he paid $13,000 for it?
Oh, we didn't pay anything.
No, Granddad did.
12.
He paid $12,000 for it. That was probably in 1960 or so. So I'd say that's a pretty valuable diamond.
'76 was when I got it.
And you got it in 76. Now tonight we're going to dinner at a Mexican place for your birthday. I'm looking forward to that. You can eat spicy food, okay?
What?
You can eat spicy food?
Oh, I can eat anything except chicken. They feed poultry some antibiotic that just kills me.
Well, one of my favorite dinners that you used to make as a kid was called chicken spaghetti, and it was chicken cooked and spaghetti, and then green olives sliced really thin into the spaghetti. And
I have the best I do is a organic turkey once in a while.
free range. You don't try free range chicken anymore.
I don't like it that well. I've been too sick on it,
Oh yeah,
on chicken.
I'll let you get that. We keep interrupting this because people keep calling Mom wishing her a happy birthday, but I want her to talk about her dad, Harry Evans.
His name was Henry James Evans, but he went by Harry J. Evans. He was a very sociable person and just loved people, had lots of friends. He never knew a stranger. He was a telephone manager. He had come up from the very bottom of the telephone crowd, the repairmen, climbed poles and that type of thing. And he died of cancer when he was 52 years old.
Yeah, colon cancer, which had to be a terrible way to go.
Oh, he'd had his colon removed in Boston a year before he died, and then the cancer just spread throughout his body. He had cancer of the kidneys, everything.
Oh man.
Metastasis.
Well, I heard during the Depression that when people couldn't pay their phone bills, he paid it for them so they could keep their phones.
He would take trade-ins. He tried to keep his collections up, so he had the best collection in the state of Wyoming, but he'd take milk from farmers. He'd take meat. We'd trade. He'd pay their bills, and we'd take what they had to offer.
Wow.
He had the best collections during the Depression in Wyoming for his manager for the Thermopolis exchange. But he loved the telephone company, and he had 35 years service.
Wow. And you were 13 years old when he died?
I was just before I was 12. He was buried the day before my 12th birthday.
Oh, man.
So I was born later in life. I had the one brother that was 11 years older than I am.
Richard, he bought you your favorite horse.
Yes, Barney.
Barney.
And then I had the brother Robert, who died when he was 2 years old. And then I was born when Rob would have been 5. And Mother and Dad had been married 6 or 7 years when Dick, my eldest brother, was born.
Dick, yeah. Richard. Uncle Dick.
Yeah.
I have interesting memories of him. He had a bunch of wives. Now, I liked Mary Ethel the best. He came up with Mary Ethel once, and they drove me down to encampment to stay with them. And they hunted for jade, looking for jade rock. So I went out on an expedition with Mary Ethel looking for jade.
His first wife was Cecilia. The second one was Mary Ethel. And I don't remember the others.
I don't think I ever met any of them other than Mary Ethel. I loved her. I mean, as a young, she was just a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm. So was Cecilia.
And he lived in Panama.
Yes.
Now, did he work for the phone company or the railroad?
It was telephone.
Telephone, okay, just like his dad.
Yeah.
Well, Funny that your dad took trade-ins for phone business. Uh, I came up with a name for my second novel, Daddy's Little Felons, after you talked. You had your roof done and some work done for Dad's defense clients.
Yes.
Daddy's Little Felons, you called them. I love that. In fact, when I was in New York pitching publishers, everyone said, that is a great name for a novel, Daddy's Little
Well,
Felons.
that would be your own dad's.
Yeah, my own dad's. Yeah, yeah.
Because he's a lawyer.
But it was kind of part of the family history, helping people where they, uh, what you did and where they needed help.
We traded their skills for what we needed.
Yep.
We'd pay their bills.
Well, that's super.
But my dad loved to swim. He'd been raised on Lake Michigan, and swimming was one of the most important things to him. So I was taken swimming in the swimming pools in Thermopolis when I was probably less than a year old. And they said when I was a toddler, I came out, dove in, came up swimming. I never remember learning to swim.
Well, you always insisted that we swim-proof our kids when we had them. You got to drown-proof them, you called.
Yeah, but Thermopolis is the world's largest mineral hot springs. And so we had hot springs to swim in, and I was taken swimming from the time I was a baby on.
Huh. That's super.
All our kids were early swimmers, all of you, but not because of Thermopolis, simply because I believed in swimming.
Now, weren't in Wyoming, weren't the kids on a swim team or something, or that we just swam a lot?
Oh yeah, your swimming was in Washington, the YMCA.
Oh, that's right. That's after I'd left home.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just remember swimming in Sheridan.
Big round pool in the backyard, when we lived on Hudson. In Richland, and then we put in the swimming pool and tennis court when we built on Granada Court.
Well, when I grew up in Wyoming, I spent the whole summer outdoors, and that's to what I owe all of the dermatologist work they do on me now. I was perpetually sunburned.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And so every 6 months I go in and get zapped.
You weren't supposed to have red hair. They gave you the skin that burned.
Isn't it the Irish it's just English
I don't know.
fair skin?
Your dad was a redhead.
Yeah.
My brother Robert was a redhead. So it came from both.
Well, Dick was a redhead too.
No,
Your brother, Uncle Dick?
That was my brother Rob.
Oh, okay.
Dick had dark hair.
Well, you have a lot of redheaded great grandchildren.
Yeah, well, I have had a red-haired cousin. There was red hair all through the family.
Now, anecdotally, I also think that you have a lot of B positive blood types.
Yes.
And
both your dad and I are B positive.
And I'm B positive. And anecdotal evidence indicates that B positive people are far less likely to get COVID. I don't know if that's true, but everybody that I talk to who has not had COVID is more than likely B positive in their blood type.
But we're both B positive.
Well, you told me when I was a kid You always told me I was a genius and that you had an IQ test done on me when I was quite young. Now, I know that's baloney, but I
Well,
believed
I
it.
thought you were the smartest kid.
Well, I thought I was the smartest kid too. It was just crazy. And so there's nothing I couldn't tackle
Yep.
because I was the smartest person in the human
I
human
hadn't
history.
the slightest idea what my IQ was, but I thought I was smart, and I don't think I have a real high IQ. I have a good one.
Well, I bought into it right till I went to Andover, and then it suddenly hit me.
When you were back there was a lot more high IQs.
A lot more smart guy. Daryl Salk, whose father invented the polio vaccine, and even George W. Bush was a year ahead of me at Andover, and he was smart. They were all smart.
He has such a high IQ.
I think they're all pretty smart.
Well, they're smart,
They were smarter than I was.
but they're not geniuses.
There were I've known a couple of geniuses.
I have too, and I'm not one. But don't tell anyone.
No, we won't. We'll keep that a secret. All right. Well, I'm going to shut this down now and celebrating 97 years.
That's pretty damn old.
Well, when you think about it, at our parents, I mean, 100 years ago, just about. That's a long time. I mean, the country's only been around for, 250 years. So anyhow, Mom, I love you. Happy birthday, and you're probably going to outlive a bunch of us. Talk to you
I
later.
hope not. Bye-bye.
Bye.